Lucinda's Notions and Illuminations. I'm really excited today. Today is winter solstice 2022. What that means is that like the sun has changed its position along with the earth, so that way we will receive less sunlight at this moment going into winter. What does that mean to you? You have less illumination for who and what you're doing. However, planets are lining up today and really helping us out through May. And I'm very excited by this. Anyway, so today's show, I thought that I would go ahead and share my gratitude practice. All right. And every morning when I get up, I have I have a cup of coffee, I have my shake because I have a nutrition shake that I do, so that way I can get all my nutrient values. I really look to see like how I can honor my body, and then and that is new. It's not something that like has been happening all along, off and on throughout my life. I've really paid attention to my body to support it. I'm getting older. It's time for me to go ahead and refocus that way in a physical form so that way I can be sustainable. So that's what that was for me. Anyway, I'm tuning into like the thread of people that will be here. And since we're coming to the end of the year, right? Our Gregorian calendar. It may seem as though you need maybe a little bit more insight moving forward into the next year. What I would like is if you guys would go ahead and maybe pepper me with questions about. Yes, that's perfect. Okay. And so, what I'd like for you to do is just write in the chat box things that you would like to know about. They don't have to necessarily be um, uh, broad questions. If you could go ahead and maybe, let's see, how do I want to do it? Because like they keep telling me different things. So I have one viewer on here live right now that I can see from YouTube, and that's fine. If you could go ahead and whoever is in any of the chats, go ahead and just, if you would like a specific question, add your question for the new year. Otherwise, I'm going to pull a rune and I'm going to talk about, oh, the recession. Good one. Okay, so let's pull runes on that. Okay, so somebody is admitting the recession. All right, so first things first, we'll need a lot of gratitude for that for sure. So I use fire, and today I'm using black leaf sage. All right, black leaf sage is a very potent, it's like a winter smoke. Okay, and so with this, when I start in the morning, I get centered. All right, so just center yourself by focusing on your heart chakra. All right, drop down into your heart chakra. Okay, so for each of the viewers, you'll face me. We'll go around, bringing in gratitude, coming across your right arm, getting rid of any dissonant energy, and then your left arm, and all the way down your body in the front. Peekaboo. You'll turn around. I'll go ahead and, whoo, there we go. Last year is gone. Into the back to open up your heart chakra, straight across your left. Take that off your shoulders to your right. Ground in all your possibilities by connecting you to earth. All right. Okay. Now the thought is this. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for the breath that I have, the experiences that I'm able to share, the adventures. I'm just so grateful to have yet one more day to be able to mess around with. Okay. All right. And when I focus and I recenter myself and I bring myself into that space, right? A lot of it has to do with how I'm feeling about the situation and how I'm able to let go of what my focus is in the moment and move to gratitude, because gratitude is what's going to allow me to move out of complacency and decide action in a better format. And so that's just really important. Now, a couple of placements for the planets are really moving right now. Okay. So Uranus is going to come out of retrograde at the end of January. But from now until the end of, well, like the 23rd of May, all right, we have Jupiter back in on its second pass, okay, Aries. So anything that you're choosing to do right now, really consider self, because self is asking to be taken care of. So very important that even though it might feel selfish, that you look first to satisfy you, to make sure that you're safe, your needs are met, and that your level of comfort is there. And if it isn't, if there's any kind of resistance, you want to check to see what age the child is that's throwing the shade in your direction, because somehow you're not feeling safe and taken care of in that moment. And it's okay, that's good. So we're going to get to the recession right now. The recession, so what I've seen, all right, I've seen like a lot of, I'm a natural channel. I channel universal wisdom, and I'm in constant contact with that particular body of energy. And that would include Seth and Abraham and like a lot of different personalities. And it's a very good vibration to read from, because you can look at the future, but keep in mind that anytime you get like they call them hits, but anytime you get an inkling or a sensing about like what's to come, it is to let you know that you have choice, because that means your energy has gone ahead and said, hey, I checked this out and this is what you're going to experience. So now's the time to dial it in the way that you would like, because your energy is always ahead of you, because you're bigger than life. All right. You're bigger than life. You could go ahead and take the question chat down now, Solange. And then also some of the other things, all right, are that when you allow yourself to be your number one, then you don't let other people make you number two. And that's really important. It isn't because you're choosing yourself over others. It actually is. But the reason that you're doing that is because you have to show up for others and you have to know who you are. So that's like, it's like a no-brainer for me. Okay. and trust me, I had to work through a lot of stuff. So we'll have kids, women will have kids, and sometimes they'll feel like they have to do all of this and put themselves on the back burner. Men will feel that way as well. I'm not singling men or women out, but sometimes when you have children, you put like all your hopes and dreams on the back burner, like becoming a stuntman or becoming like a daredevil pilot, or like those things that could cost your life, things like that, right? Maybe they feel frivolous to you. The thing is the energy is still there because that child hasn't been answered. So how can you answer that child, right? Now is the time, because everything that you're moving into allows for expansion, everything. So if you're in a focus of lack, you're going to have expanded lack. That's what you'll have, period. That's it. Just like that. So depending on what you're calling yourself, I am is what the energy is, it's expanding. So depending on what you're calling yourself, I'm poor, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm happy, I'm joyous, I'm free, I'm appreciative, I'm in gratitude. You can tell the difference in the vibration, but it all comes down to the story that you tell yourself. So what story are you telling yourself? So let's go to the recession. Does it have to affect you directly? Not necessarily. Are there solutions? We're just going to have to ride that shit out. We made a mess. We made a mess years and years and years and years ago. All right. And now we're being called into accountability for it. And with that, that means that we need to find out where our heart is, where our compassion is, how we can show up for one another and really create that oneness law in a very compassionate, loving way. So I keep turning over this way because you asked me about the recession and I want to pull a rune for it. Now, I'm not all namby-pamby, but I don't necessarily allow I don't allow other people's diagnosis of what's going on to make my decision about what I want to experience. Okay? Now, that sounds like a mouthful, and I'll explain that a little bit, all right? So, I'm going to be doing classes on universal law and spirituality because they go hand in hand. It's about energy and how we interact with the energy. But those are the classes that I'm going to be doing. I'll be taking a topic and utilizing it and showing you how you can access different parts of you to be who you need to be. Wow. And make it easier for you throughout all these energies. Now, a lot of times we don't realize that it's our philosophy, our belief system that guides us, that tells us we're going to have this kind of an experience if we do X, Y, Z. Now, that's our intuition, right? That's our intuition. That's our inside voice, all right, who's in communication with our outside energy and inside energy and trying to have an optimal experience. And so when we listen to those indicators, we become more in tune with like what it is that we like and what we don't like. So that way, when we have an experience, we can experience it more fully and more presently. That's probably the way that I would like to go. So regarding the recession, okay. I really wouldn't call it that. I think that it is not, I'll tell you what I've been channeled. What I've been channeled is that it is a made up factor to allow us to have another focus. And so it's more of a look at the birds sort of bullshit. Okay. Doesn't mean it's not happening because they can make that stuff happen. So that way we feel the push pull. When we feel the push pull, it changes our focus from where it is that we would like to be into what the fuck they're doing. Okay. And so we don't need to be there, but that's what's happening. So the idea is to really get solid in who you are and what it is that you would like to be and have as far as an experience. Because come hell or high water, you're going to have an experience. It's your choice as to how it is and what it is that you want to experience. Okay, so today what we did was we pulled, possessions. Such a perfect rune, right? So recession usually means that people will be losing their houses and everything. First, let's just do the basics of economics, all right? We go into the pandemic, we enter late. When we enter late, because we're in disbelief as a nation. We're in disbelief as a nation, and we think that we're untouchable. So we go into the pandemic thinking we're untouchable. Then what happens is that we overreact. When we overreact, we decide that we're going to funnel funds that are naturally for hospitals into a different program. And this is the only way that you can qualify. So in that program, all right, they're going to have to say that everybody passed because of XYZ in order to garner federal funding that supports what it is that they had to go through. They had to hire extra staff. They had to have different ways of doing things. And then with that big influx, then there was a big decrease. Now with that decrease, that puts them into the give me more money because they have to survive, because that's just how the government feels. That's how you feed pharma. That's all that stuff. Okay. Doesn't make it right or wrong. That's just our system. Our whole system is built in an economic format. All right. First, please remember that the Dark Ages were brought to America. That is how America started. The Dark Ages brought to America. So if we're still operating in that particular format, then maybe it is time for change. And maybe this time the recession can go ahead and shake us up enough to make some substantial changes that actually answer all of the people to support them, rather than just a chosen few that want to dictate how the rest of us live. I'm not saying that to be arbitrary or political. I'm saying that that's what's actually taking place right now. And it isn't because I'm asking for everybody to share what they have. I would just like a better, more even playing field of where to start, rather than oppression for some, depression for others, recession for others, and wealth for others, because those are the systems that we're built on right now. Okay. All right. So possessions is the rune. So this is how runes work for me. Runes are very accurate. So whatever comes up from this particular rune, all right, is going to let us know how the recession is going to impact us. Those that watch this, not the nation. Those that watch this, not the nation. Now, all that means is that you're going to receive a little bit of extra information, and that means it's going to not affect you the same way it does to other people. So when people watch this, they'll receive the information and then they'll have a better understanding of how to operate in the future. Okay, so this is going to be like our solstice. We'll pull another solstice rune. I did bring cards out here, so I think I'll pull 3 cards for solstice, and then I'll do the rune for the recession. All right. So the rune that we got is in English, possessions. All right. And what it signifies is cattle, goods, vital community wealth. So this is actually a perfect rune for the recession. Let's see what page that one's on. Okay, it's on 113. Ooh, it matches the new year. That's nice. Almost. Okay. And it did not come in reverse, so that's really good. Oh, possessions, nourishment, and cattle. This is Fehu. All right. Fehu is one of my favorite runes. Okay. From the Futhark. This is like a... This is a really good rune. So I'm just going to read this to you, okay? All right. So it says, Fehu is a rune of fulfillment, ambition satisfied, love shared, rewards received. It promises nourishment from the most worldly to the sacred and the divine. For if the ancient principle, as above, so below, holds true, then we are also here to nourish God. So stay in your truth, follow your spirituality, because it's really coming down to who you are inside. Keep that in mind. That's what this rune is telling you. So with regard to the recession, this is a direct answer. So keep in mind the focus is on the inside, not the outside. Even though we're asking about the outside, it's a focus on the inside. So keep that in mind, all right? Okay, this rune calls for a deep probing of the meaning of profit and gain in your life. So it's supposed to be reflective. Now you have to find out what's important to you, right? Is material wealth important to you? If it is, what does that look like and why? If it's a why because you need to have things so that you feel satisfied, then there's something deeper inside that you need to look at so that you can find out how you can answer it without possessions. Everything inside can be answered inside. It just has to be satisfied. All right? Okay, it is, okay, let's see. Okay. Look with care to know whether it is wealth and possessions you require for your well-being, or rather self-rule and the growth of a will. And so here comes Jupiter into Aries. All right, Aries is all about I am. So I am. So you're making a declarative moving into the new year. And in this declarative, that's how you're going to decide whether the recession affects you or the recession doesn't affect you, because it is an outside issue. All right. Everything affects us in a butterfly way. So it might be minimal, it might be maximum, maybe, whatever it is that you're going through, it is not always a choice. It is circumstance from other people's choices. And so in that, knowing what your truth is and what your choice is and keeping that as your focus, you'll get more of that. And so that's how a recession works. Because some people won't feel a pinch. Other people who rely on the outside to tell them the inside is good will definitely feel the pinch. That makes you act differently. When you act differently, you act with lack mentality. And when you're there, you're just there. All right? Okay, so whether it is wealth and possessions you require for your well-being, or rather self-rule, the growth of a will. Okay? Another concern of Fehu is to conserve what has already been gained. Okay, so time to dial back the spending. Really look to see where you want to spend your dollars. Because let's face it, if you're not willing to spend money out, neither is anyone else. And if you're willing to receive, so is everybody else. So how can you come to a happy medium? That's what you're being asked. So that way the laws of the universe can be satisfied. So in the rhythm and correspondence, right, you have polarity. So you have the pendulum swinging all the time in the universe. So really bad shit, really cool shit, really bad shit, really cool shit, really bad shit, really cool shit. And that's the law of, polarity. It's either really great or it's really not great. And then we have a lot of in between stuff that we experience. And so when you're operating in the universal laws, you can allow yourself to choose how that pendulum shows up. What my preference is that, oh, I see that I went ahead and I went through this and this and this, and those were dissatisfactory, but I've managed to release this, this, and this. And so now I'm ready for something great to happen because I've cleared myself and I moved into that alignment with that particular energy stream. Now I'm in flow state. And then that way, whatever it is that I ask for, it's going to come. All right. Okay. This rune urges vigilance and continual mindfulness, especially in times of good fortune. For it is then that you are likely to collapse yourself into your success on the one hand or behave recklessly on the other. Enjoy your good fortune and remember to share it. For the mark of the well-nourished self is the ability and willingness to nurture others, to nourish others. All right? So the only way that we're going to make it out of the recession is to help one another. That's it. If we don't extend a hand to help another individual, let's say you see a family struggling, because some of the pictures that I saw are pretty devastating. One of them is that I saw a lot of businesses empty and dilapidated and just a lot of like ghost town feel. And it has to do with people moving from big city aspects into smaller communities because it's costing too much for us to live within the city dwelling in municipalities because they're requiring so much more influx of our funding, right? So people who are wanting to live off the grid are learning how to do so in a different way to where it's not really absorbing as much of their cost of living and their ratio. So I would say that in this crunch, right? Because I won't call it a recession. I won't give it to them in that way because it isn't a real thing. It's something that they're making up because they don't have the funds in the first place to satisfy what we owe. So it's all made up. All right. We can be in debt for the rest of our lives as a country, as a nation. And that would, if that constitutes a recession, then we've been in recession since we began. So you have to think about it in a very broad term. And so they're using that word to let you know that the economy is slowing down and that you're not going to have as much influx of cash or currency, and that it's time to go ahead and be frugal, allow yourself to understand that you need to stay out of a lack mentality. Also, the 4 of coins keeps coming up and the 6 of coins. So the 4 of coins is about building a foundation with a budget, but understanding that it's a shopping cart as well. So you have to spend a little bit. Just be mindful where you allocate your funds. That's it. The next is to allow yourself to give to others because it will be greatly appreciated. Don't do willy-nilly stuff. So for what I mean by willy-nilly stuff is stuff that I used to do because I wanted people to like me. And so don't just think that somebody needs something from you because like it'll make you feel better. Okay. The idea is to have a communication with the individual and see whether or not you do have something that they would, welcome in their life to ease their life. It isn't about trying to be a people pleaser or doing enough good deeds so that way you satisfy yourself and you feel good. If there's stuff inside that doesn't let you feel optimal with who you are, then it's definitely time for you to sit under a tree, journal out like some of the dissatisfaction that you have going on and burn those papers, And the reason I promote being outside is because that's going to give you a nice grounding into the earth. It'll give you a beautiful clearing and it gives you enough space to where like you feel I could do this. All right. Okay, so solstice. I put my cards right here. I couldn't find them first. So I went ahead and I went traditional today. I'm very excited about that. So that food chart with Fehu is a really good rune. I'm going to hold it up one more time. It did not come in reversed. So it is just a warning to let you know that even though you've had amplified funding, that it will be okay. Just don't spend all that you got, because there might be more times where you're going to have to hold on to and be more frugal with your money upcoming. You might feel like you have a lot of wealth right now and access. And so the idea is to understand that even though you have that wealth and access, you got to be a squirrel for the winter. We're going into the hibernal season. And that means that everything that you've learned from spring, summer, autumn, you're going to take all that knowledge with you like a good book, and you're going to read through it. And you know, like good books are really good, because then you read some stuff that you don't like. You're like, what's this shit here? Anyway, and then you discard that, and then you go, oh man, will the heroine win? And then you get to the end of the book, and woo, new year, new day. All right. So that book is a story that you tell yourself. So what story are you telling yourself? Right? Are you successful? Do you have love in your heart? Are you ready to receive? Right? Let's go ahead and focus on I keep hearing Abraham and Esther's voice, how funny, saying, it doesn't matter where you've been, it's where you're going. Not where you've been, it's where you're going. Not where you've been, it's where you're going. And so it's very funny that I get that reminder, because we have a very good track record for pulling information that's happened and putting it in front of us to show why we can't do shit. So it might be a good idea to see like what you put in front of you as far as limitation, and ask if it's there to make you safe, and if so, how does it make you safe? And then you can go ahead and release it. So anything that tells you no, you can't have that, or I don't know, it has to do with like a lot of things. Okay, and a lot of it has, ooh, there we go, got one card. All right, it has to do with you, your relationship to you, and how you think about what you receive. So the story that you tell yourself is the story that you live. If you're saying, oh man, I don't have this, I wish I could have this experience, then you're probably not going to have that experience, because your story is that you don't have that experience. That's it. That's the easiest way that I could say it. That's like the most succinct way I could see it. Say it. Sorry. Okay, so this will be our first card. I'm just going to do that. Okay. Okay. So we're trying to decide like how we want to ask the question for this hibernal season. By the way, this card keeps coming up, all right, which is the Hermit. And that just is so funny to me, because that's what the hibernal season is all about. It's all about taking in all that spiritual learning that you had and internalizing it, and then beginning to operate from like those premises one by one, and then applying them and allowing yourself to have that beautiful moment. Yeah. Okay, so we know now that that's the spiritual lesson that we're in. All right. Okay. Now, maybe we've been going through some things and we want to know if that's clearing. Okay, so that'll be the first card. All right, because you know we all have that stuff around us, all that shit, right? So let's see. So the first card will be the question: is the energies that we've been experiencing, are those energies, ooh, it's going to get really good for us. I just want to let you know that. Are those the energies that we are ready to release? Okay. All right. And I mean, like, are there people in our lives that we don't necessarily need to like hold on to? Is there deceit in our life? Is there a story that we're telling ourselves that maybe isn't true, that we're starting to get willing to let go of, things like that. By the way, happy Yule. Okay. So let's see. Woo! There's my other two right there. All right. Okay. Ooh, Lord, we got some poop coming up. Oh, all right. Oh, look. See, I knew it. All right. Okay. Everything is going to be about relationship. And so I'm really happy I'm doing these classes because when I was guided by spirit, I was guided by the universe. Okay. So I believe in universal energies. I know that there's a source energy that allows us, it's creator energy that allows us, because we have conceptualized it, to have God. All right. God is a concept, but God is also in that construct real. So keep in mind that your thoughts become things, and however you believe is how you live. However you believe is how you live, and that is your experience. So keep that in mind, all right? Now, I use God because God's easy to spell. I do believe in God. I believe in a lot of different things. I know that all of it's right. I know that every single religion is correct. I know that every single theology is correct. I know that every bit of belief system in a spiritual practice is correct. So that's your answer. It's all right. Okay? So moving forward with our solstice season, and since we're going into that hibernal aspect where we feel like we're going to hunker down and we're going to say, oh, what did I learn, right? So part of it is the two cards that I kept seeing did come up. We did get the 4 of coins or pentacles, and we also got the 6 of coins and pentacles. Now, I didn't designate the second and third because what is right now is the 6 of coins. Okay, so the 4 and 6, that means that you're not destitute in that 5 to where you feel like you're in that conflict, that spiritual conflict, like God's forsaken me, or the universe has forsaken me. And so in that, okay, you have skipped over from that. So you're a pretty even keel right now. You're just receiving information that it'd be beneficial to kind of look to where you want to allocate your funds. That's how it works. Look to where you want to allocate your funds. Be in alignment with you, then make a decision. You, then a decision. Okay, so moving forward, some of the things that you've learned from spring, summer, and autumn are untrue, okay? But they were given to you so that way you could work through them, all right? Most of it you've worked through. I just want to let you know that the conflict that you were experiencing in your thought process is being removed. And so moving forward, so from today forward, that's going to be in the past. All right. So whatever story you had, just know that that is moving into a different direction. This is 7 of swords. And what that does is that shows you that with these 2 swords, you're going to have a decision to make. Really, it's your discernment that you're going to employ. You're going to decide whether or not this is beneficial or no longer beneficial for you, how you're going to tell the story, what your thoughts are. And you're going to allow whatever the conflict is to be removed. Okay? If there's deceit in your life, that is another indicator that that deceit is being removed from your life. It's just a story that's being taken out. All right? Next, it allows you to move into solution. Now, this isn't a minimal card. This is beyond conflict, okay? And you can see that the noble person right here is giving like things to people, but they're also very grateful, okay? So this is also a gratitude card. So you have frugality, all right, and giving, all right? So in both of these, understand that you'll find a richness rather than dissatisfaction or not enough. When you give and you mind yourself to like see like where you're at, it gives you a sense of more clarity, allowing you to be more in charge of where it is that you want to spend your energy and your time. Now, this particular season for winter, all right, is going to be all about relationships. So relationships are like a tricky deal. And because you're going into a triple spiritual lesson or unfolding for the next 3 months, okay? It is going to include, oh, It's going to include like some stuff, all right? Now, it's going to make you feel like you're spiritually bankrupt because some of the things that you knew before to be true for yourself are no longer true. I encourage you to do little mini practices that are tangible for you that allow you to feel like you've let go of something. All right. So for me, what I do is if something's really bothering me, I write it down on a piece of paper and I take all the energy of it. I just imagine all the energy of it going into the paper and then I release it. And so it works out pretty good. All right. So here's the 3 lessons that we will be in. All right. 6, 9, 15. That's funny because it's all 6s and 9s, right? Okay, so 6, 9, 15. So the Lover's card is all about relationship, okay? The thing is that you're going to have to be mindful because what you're going to learn, okay, in this spiritual lesson is that this grows up to be this if you're not careful. So mind your addictions. Mind your addictions. Look at the different things that are happening. But also, this grows into money. This is a money card, a money indicator card. This one came up. So everything that you're thinking about in this solstice, in this new year, is going to be profitable. All right. You just have to find your relationship to it so that you can receive the money. All right. And that's how you'll do it. So keep in mind, here it is. So all those limiting thoughts that you had, right? Okay, that brought you into this solstice season to where you're in the hibernal season and you're allowing yourself to ruminate over some of the things that have been. Allow those to be written on a piece of paper. Take your imagination and put all the energy onto the piece of paper and then you burn it so you can discard it so that way these 5 swords, those thoughts that don't mean anything, can go ahead and be released. That's the first order of business. Next is that you have to have a focus on your situation to where you can look to see where you can be a service to others and how you can shave off your spending. Okay, so it's like a twofold right there. This relationship to money, because it is relationship to money, it's relationship to wealth, it's relationship to I have. So in the I am aspect, what happens is that you're learning about what it is that you desire. Be open with yourself. Allow yourself to choose anything that you want. And then listen to the story you tell yourself about being able to receive it. That is an indicator as to whether or not you're open, willing, and ready to receive. Okay? If it's like, I don't know if I can have that. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time to go pick that up. Ooh, if I had that experience, it'd be like this. Well, let go of that shit. You don't need it. Okay? So, situation, spiritual lessons. Okay? So the spiritual lessons are you're going to go inside and you're going to learn how to create the relationship of you to your spiritual wealth. Okay? And you're going to discern how to accept what's to come for you in a very beneficial way. All right? So great cards, great cards for solstice. Very telling. I just love that. Okay, so let's just do a real zippy, quick um, uh, reset. All right, so we'll do a drop down meditation because I like these, and then we'll go to ground zero, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a wish from you. So whatever your heart's desire is, when you hit that reset, okay, we're going to send it out into the universe and ask the universe to reciprocate with what we're asking. All right, so kind of keep that in mind about what you would like to experience moving forward into the new year, new season. Okay, and so bring that into your heart chakra. Okay, and you can keep your eyes open because it's an energy that we're going to work with. Okay, so we're going to breathe in to the top of our head, and we're going to release, relax, 1. Breathe into our forehead. Release, relax, 2. Breathe into our cheeks. Release, relax, 3. Breathe into our neck and throat. Release, relax, 4. Ooh. Now down to the feet. Breathe into the feet. Release, relax. 5. Breathe into your legs. Breathe. Yes. Release, relax. 6. Okay. Breathe into your hips. Oh, really unlock that lower back. There you go. Release, relax. 7. Breathe into all of your back. Release, relax. 8. Breathe into all of your front. Release, relax. 9. And breathe in from your shoulders to your hands. Release from your shoulders down your arms and out your fingertips. 10. Stay in that beautiful energy of reset. Call up that beautiful wish that you would like to experience. We're going to make a little ball right here. It looks like a beautiful, bright, brilliant ball. Feed it full of your hopes and dreams and what you'd like to experience. It's getting heavy. Okay, time to send it into the universe. Good deal. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have the best day ever. And peace.